Hey everybody, it's Mitch, and welcome to my next video. Today we've got another Naruto character review for you, and today we were going to sort of have two characters actually, because today we have Sakon and Ukon from Naruto, and sort of Naruto Shippuden. So first off, spoilers. If you're not caught up on Naruto, you definitely might want to watch that first, unless you don't care about spoilers, in which case, whatever. And there might be some stuff from Shippuden, but that's going to be pretty limited, and that'll be at the end. So yeah, definitely go check that out. That said, let's get started. So Sakon and Ukon. Well, they are part of the Sound Four, sort of one member of the Sound Four. Ukon normally doesn't do a whole lot. He is the older twin brother of Sakon, and the two have some interesting abilities where Ukon generally merges inside of Sakon's body and just kind of chills in there and lets Sakon kind of handle things while he just kind of rests inside. Their shared body, which is an interesting ability they have. Very, very interesting. So we see a lot more of Sakon than we do Ukon, since Sakon is the one normally controlling the body. We first see them, when the Leaf Village is attacked. They're part of the Sound Four, putting up the barrier between Orochimaru and Orochimaru and the third Hokage and everybody else. So they have that nice little double barrier, basically making themselves pretty much invulnerable from either side. Meanwhile, all the craziness is going on inside. But anyways, so you see them there. They don't do a whole lot. You see them again when they go to take Sasuke. The Sound Four show up outside the hospital to ambush Sasuke, and Sakon's the one doing most of the talking. He's the one telling Sasuke what's up. He's telling him why they're there. He fights Sasuke. Sasuke manages to do okay at one point, but Sakon clearly outmatches Sasuke for the most part. And although he does get some help from Jirobo and Kitamaru, but yes, they do take Sasuke down and tell him, "Hey, we want you as leave the village and come meet us outside the village in a bit." And Sasuke thinks about it and does. At which point they all kneel down and say Sasuke's their new leader. So they all follow after. So they all follow. They put Sasuke in they give Sasuke a mind awakening pill. Again, he's the one who explains everything. They put him inside the drum, although that was Jirobo who actually did that. They get him sealed away, and then they carry him off. They end up, of course, fighting the four Sound Ninja, all face off against Genma and I keep forgetting his name. But yeah, they end up facing off and defeating them, but end up tired when the Sasuke Retrieval Squad comes after them. It was actually thanks to these two to Sakon and Ukon, specifically Ukon, that they were able to catch them by surprise, because after Shikamaru catches everybody, Ukon just kind of slips away and then attacks them from behind, which no one really knew what was going on with that. They're like, how did no one realized how Shikamaru's jutsu failed. And then, of course, immediately after that, Jirobo, uses Earth Style to smash up the ground and catch them all. You see him show up again later when the Sasuke Retrieval Squad minus Choji catches up to them, and Shikamaru disguised as Jirobo. They see through it, and everybody kind of takes off. And it's just Jiro, and then Kitamaru splits away, and Sakon and Ukon and Tayuya head off on their own with Sasuke. Eventually, the Sasuke retrieval squad shows up again. Now just down to Naruto, Kiba, and Shikamaru, and I guess Akamaru too. And this time they managed to catch him by surprise. Shikamaru actually comes up with a nice plan that is able to get Sasuke away from them. And Naruto ends up with the coffin that Sasuke's in, and they just start booking it. Ukon's not happy about that. He goes into second state and starts chasing after them and catches up pretty quick. But Shikamaru kind of planned for that, and they had some traps with some paper bombs and stuff lined up. Unfortunately, Sakon was not so happy about that, and he managed to pin Akamaru down on top of one of the paper bombs. Now, although Sakon was still caught in it himself, he just managed to basically get Akamaru trapped there too. Kiba, seeing that, wasn't going to let Akamaru fend for himself, and he jumped in the way, and all of them ended up falling off a cliff together. So that ended up happening. At which point we get to really see Sakon and Ukon's true abilities to split away from each other. You get to see just how strong they can be. Akamaru and Kiba very quickly go with their trump card of turning into a giant dog or a giant wolf, a giant two-headed wolf with the two of them, and going after them. First with using dynamic marking from Akamaru so that they can smell their location, since they can't see what they're doing because they're spinning too fast with this attack. And yeah, so they managed to lay a massive blow on Sakon and Ukon, which separates them. And that ends up it ends up hitting them, and they just split, and it ends up not actually hurting them. They didn't take the direct blow. Most of the attack energy just went to the fission of the two, which they can do without too much issue. Then they went for another shot because they are good for 2 rounds with that. And they summoned Rasenmon, the strongest defense that they have for Orochimaru. And they put a nice big dent in that. But they unfortunately were not able to stop that. So, and he was even commented on how impressive it was for them to dent the Rasenmon that much. But at the same time, it did stop them. And you get to see Ukon's real ability when he slips inside of Kiba and just shares a body with him. Meanwhile, Akamaru had just peed on Sakon's eyes and sent him to, I think that's who they were. So hard to tell the two apart. But it was more of an acidic pee, and he had to go wash his eyes out in the river while Ukon dealt with Kiba. Kiba decided to do the unthinkable when he realized that they shared a body. Normally, Ukon could count on, once that happened, to not get attacked because, hey, the only way to attack me is to attack yourself. Well, Kiba's like, oh, all I got to do is attack myself? Okay. So he just stabbed himself in the chest a couple of times to land some good blows on Ukon. And Ukon was like, you're crazy. You're going to kill yourself just to kill me? So yeah, Kiba freaking did it. He didn't end up killing himself, but he wounded himself really bad. He went to go after Ukon, but things got a little weird, and Kiba then just ended up launching some smoke bombs and getting away with Akamaru, although he left a nice little trap, little Akamaru-shaped trap that was actually a explosive kunai bomb, which just blew, when Ukon looked at it, he's just like, and it just blew up and like did a bunch of damage to him. He ended up running into Sakon and having to like merge back with Sakon for a little while. And they tracked him for a bit until eventually they managed to catch up. Ukon came after, or I think it was Sakon, or one of them came after Kiba. At which point, while the other one moved away, and he was wearing Kiba's jacket, who she had left behind as part of a diversion. He used that in order to sneak up on Kiba, since Kiba's so used to his own scent. At which point, he was about ready to finish Kiba off when Kiba wasn't so worried, because he sensed the arrival. He could smell someone else coming. And that someone was Konkoro, who managed to save Kiba at the last second. And Sakon and Ukon, they tried, but Konkoro used his black ant, which was disguised as Konkoro. Ukon attempted to merge into, or I think it might have been Sakon that tried to merge in with, to like merge into Konkoro's body. It didn't work for some reason. And it was revealed that, because that wasn't Konkoro, that was Black Ant. Konkoro was on the back, and then he just opened up the Black Ant and sucked Sakon inside and took him down. Then Sakon went and rested inside Ukon's body, and Ukon's like, I'm not used to being the one in control. But he ended up fighting against Konkoro and the Crow specifically, at which point he was doing okay, but they kind of but Konkoro, being a good puppet master, lured Ukon, who had Sakon inside of him, towards the Black Ant, at which point he trapped him inside, and then separated Crow into a bunch of parts, all with knives at the end, and stabbed them all into the holes inside Black Ant, and just destroyed Ukon and Sakon. And that was it for them. So that's Sakon and Ukon. They're interesting characters. They're kind of foul-mouthed, although they're more in control than many of the other members of the Sound Four. They're the ones who do most of the talking, but they're not as unreasonable as many of the others. They're a little bit more professional, although they're still, let's be real. But they act a little bit more civilly and professionally than the others, I would say. But yeah, they're an interesting bunch. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I always love hearing from you. If you enjoyed the video, consider giving it a like. Maybe subscribe to the channel for more Naruto character reviews. I mostly do Dungeons & Dragons 3.5 stuff, so if you actually enjoy D&D 3.5, definitely subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss out on a video. Anyways, as always, I'm Mitch. I'll be seeing you